Okay, I think we can start. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We're so excited to have you here. Some of you have been a part of our journey from the very beginning. That's exactly 6 years ago, and we're so excited you're still with us. So, before we go into the business of the day, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tokes, and I'll be our moderator for tonight. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we have an exciting night ahead of us. Well, like an hour ahead. But before we go into the business of the night, we're actually going to watch a video that talks about TouchLink, who we are, what we're here for, what we're doing, and what we hope to achieve with you by our side. So sit back, relax, and watch this video with us. Thank you.
My name is Yewande Affordable, and I am a survivor of domestic violence. It started 3 months after I came to the United States of America to join my ex-husband with my 2-year-old daughter. It became very physical. Even before it became physical, it started with verbal abuse, and then it graduated to emotional and mental abuse, and then it became physical. There was no access to money or food, and it was very torturing. It was very torturing. There was no one to call. I didn't have anybody's phone number then, and it was just a tough period of my life. One day, he was beating me, and my daughter came to stop him. He pushed my daughter, and he started beating both of us. That was when I called the police. The police came over. They wanted him out of the house. But I said no. I told them I would leave instead. We were on the streets of Noah. It was dark. It was cold. There was no one to call. There was nowhere to go to. Eventually, I found a number. One of the friends he had introduced to me. She came to pick us up. We were there for a few days, and I later found out that she was his girlfriend. I didn't see any indication that would become abusive. We grew up together. It was nice. I know his family. I know his sister was actually my best friend until he became a monster, until he became very physical with me. TouchLink was conceived from the Bible school I went to. The final assignment was to use a personal experience to create an impact in the lives of other people. I am filled with a passion to help others. No man, no woman, no child should endure abuse for any reason. Please join us in making a difference. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for that video. So if you're just joining us for the first time, again, we want to welcome you. My name is Tokes. I'll be our moderator for tonight. And like the video says, TouchLink was born out of what the director herself went through. And having gone through domestic violence, experiencing firsthand the trauma. She doesn't want to see another person, man, woman, child, go through the same thing. So every year, TouchLink has an annual walk. If not for COVID, we would have been walking the streets to bring awareness to domestic violence. As many of us may have heard, this year, due to COVID, a lot of people have had no choice but to live with their abusers this whole year. Some have lived to tell the story, others not so much. So as I welcome our speaker and introduce her to you, I'd like us to do our director a favor and people out there who can't fight for themselves. Some of them would love to join what we're doing tonight. They can't because the abuser might see what they're trying to do and, you know, they can't do anything. But how you can help is this. You can support TouchLink. And how you can support us, please go to our website.
You don't need to view this.
You can go to our website on www.touchlink.org and see how you can be a part of our journey and see how you can partner with us and help someone else. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker for tonight. Her name is Tosin Elizabeth Usman. And I'll try to introduce her as best I can, although she's way more than what we have on here. So Tosin E. Usman is the convener of She Pillars Incorporated, focused on community giving and helping women in shelters. She's passionate about helping domestic violence survivors reintegrate back into society. This she does flawlessly with a team of young, vibrant women of like minds. She is a clinical data analyst, a trained chemist, a beauty enthusiast, business owner, and most importantly, a mom. Tosin loves to nurture and has made it her life's mission to help women navigate complex situations, having had her own fair share of life experiences. So at this point in time, please can you join me in welcoming Tosin Elizabeth Usman. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, TouchLink. Thank you for having me. Without further ado, I'll be talking today about narcissism. I know a lot of us must have heard about narcissism and we might not really understand what it means, but I want to tell you that narcissism is the bedrock of every assault. Whether you've been abused or manipulated, it starts with narcissism. So today we'll be talking about narcissism, and in the slides we'll try to discuss about what it means and how to know that you're dealing with a narcissistic partner. Okay, so I will be sharing my slides, and if you have questions after this, please try to pen it down. I will be taking a few questions after.
You can also write your questions in the chat as they come, or if you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand.
Okay, so first, what is narcissism? And forgive me if you see my eyes going to and fro because I'm dealing with multiple screens. It's the pursuit of gratification from vanity or egotistic admiration of one's idealized self-image and attributes. It is a straight-up personality disorder that causes someone to have an sense of self-importance. Narcissism is the bedrock of sexual assault. And currently in the US, we have studies that have shown us what narcissism is like. And usually, narcissism is more prominent. It's prominent in males than in females, and it's really, really progressive. And it starts from childhood to adulthood, and if not properly managed, can, you know, pan out into the older age. And what are the characteristics of a narcissistic person, whether male or whether female? Usually, they lack empathy. That's the first thing. They lack empathy for the feelings of others and the needs of others. They require excessive admiration. They dream of unlimited.
Someone I know to care.
Yeah, they don't seem to care about the next person. Like do it without you, with or without you, they're good. And usually this is it. They like to exploit and take advantage of other people. And they believe that this attitude is the norm, is the normal way of life. So a lot of psychiatrists, they've worked on the studies and they've discovered that it is actually a personality disorder. And this disorder in itself, according to the statistics in the US, is up to like 2 to 16% of those who get from a mental health. It is found in 6% of the forensic population, in 20% of the military population, and 17% of first-year medical students. NPD manifests by young adulthood, early to mid-20s, and may worsen in middle or old age as a consequence of the onset of physical infirmities or declining physical attractiveness. Narcissistic traits can be exhibited by typical adolescents who are likely to go on to develop NPD. NPD is more commonly found in males, like I said before. And there are studies that have been done to, really buttress this, that males are more, they're more subjected to being narcissistic than females, and as compared to women. And this practically starts at birth. Note how adults interact with pregnant women. Like, is it a boy or a girl? What are you having? It's often the first question, we ask, and we try to act with that child accordingly. We affirm the so-called masculine traits for boys, overdosing as feminine. You've heard people say real boys don't cry and all of that. And that is a way of, keeping our vulnerability, not showing what should be shown out. We mask this discomfort, by becoming something else, like a false self. We bring up that false image, like a mask, and over time, the child graduates to either living with narcissistic parent or having a heightened self of esteem. It's good to have self-esteem, but it's sometimes way overboard, like attaching themselves to being part of a family name, and that comes up with being egocentric, and it develops over time. In fact, sometimes, we make those children cut off from their feelings, knowing exactly how they're supposed to express this feeling. It's okay to cry, it's okay to feel bad, it's okay to feel terrible, as compared to with saying that you are a boy, boys don't cry, real boys, you have to be, you have to man up. And over time, this is something that start dominating the subconscious for kids, and gradually it graduates into adolescence, graduates into, because of we masking the discomforts, the student masking the discomforts, they take up becoming, captain of a football team. Like, I can't fail my parents, which is okay. But when a child becomes self-absorbed in it and doesn't care about how to get it done and how it affects others, then it becomes NPD. And the major traits for NPD, the major trait is gaslighting. I know that a lot of us have heard about gaslighting. It means manipulating someone by psychological means. And, in turn, this person is questioning their own sanity. Note that narcissists are not born. They are caused by overindulging or underindulgent parenting, unavailability, not listening to kids. Children learn narcissism. Kids do what they see. When parents have mental issues, it transcends into the subconscious of the kids. And that's when the parents needs to seek therapy. Kids needs to seek consistency. And talked about gaslighting. A narcissist will make you feel like you're the problem and deny your reality. They come back after and say they didn't say something. The moment you start feeling the need to record their voice memo, take record of events, or really have to have witnesses around, this trait itself is related to insecurity on the part of the narcissistic fellow. So in the slides, know that a narcissist will manipulate, will criticize, will emotionally abuse you, and then invalidate you. That when you've had enough and you want to stand up for yourself, they'll turn around and they'll blame you. There are several types of narcissistic traits that we have that psychiatrists have, over time. They've categorized up to, I've read so much about up to like 6 or 7, but broadly, they've categorized it into three actions. We have the exhibitionist, the closet, and the toxic. The toxic one being the most dangerous to be around and to avoid at all costs. The exhibitionists, they're the luxurious, the stereotypical form of narcissists. This type of narcissists are very secure in their own self. Like children can't, generally conceive of their parents' problem. So they don't have empathy in any way. Some have grown up in homes where children are encouraged to be narcissistic. For example, they may be told that their family name makes them special and that they deserve success because it's in the blood. And sometimes they think they're amazing. They think of themselves as being smarter, better looking, more powerful than other people. In fact, they're often carelessly rude and cruel about people and tend to ignore or not even notice how others react to what they do. The closet narcissists, they're actually conflicted personas. Like they're bringing in traits from being an exhibitionist and traits of being sweet. You meet them, they're so sweet, they're charming, you want to be with them. And this is the kind of trait that happens in relationships between husband and wives and in marriages. You've heard wives say, oh, he's so sweet when he's outside, but when he's home, he's a demon. This is the category that they fall into, the closet narcissists. They're so sweet and calming and they're so charming when you're with people outside, but in their closet, there's something else. And so because of the way they act, sometimes they want to feel special. They want to associate with things that are special. They don't want to be conflicted. And really, they just want to be entitled, like they own you and you do as they say. The third one is the toxic, and this is the one that I will say that it's progressive. Like I said before, narcissism is progressive. You might meet a guy that's so sweet, you wouldn't be able to tell if this person is narcissistic. And then you get into a relationship. Of course, there will be signs. You would have seen that this person has every tendency, but because they're so sweet, they know how to mask it up. You have no idea that this person has the ability to be toxic much later. This type, not only do they want attention, very close. So again, not only do they want attention, but they enjoy hurting other people. Like they derive so much pleasure in hurting other people. They want to see you fall, and they want to stand by it. It gives them pleasure to see that you fail. Like they just want to see you fail, and they're very perfect in destroying people's career. You can have someone who's toxic at your job, and you wonder why this person is so bent on destroying your career. That person, if you check, will be very, very, very narcissistic. And harmony is not their goal. They actually gain energy through it. They tell you they don't like drama. I don't want drama, but they're the ones in the drama. And they're very good. They know how to make you take the blame for things that you think that you did not do. But because you're the one on the receiving end, you just want to do everything to make sure that this is quickly resolved. So they make their victim take the blame. And you know what that means? That is really toxic. And when it comes to relationships, it can be very risky at your own discretion. While narcissists are often charming at first, it is best to avoid dating them or befriending them, or otherwise inviting them into your life for obvious reasons. Many times people can believe a person that is self-centered can be also lacking in empathy. They're given the general belief of the doubt because they can act in ways that seem generous. But it is only a point to keep someone connected to them or to get them something specific in return. It is easy to latch on those moments as proof that a narcissist actually cared. People with narcissistic personality disorder lack object constancy, meaning that, for example, when they are angry with a partner, they can't see that in the context of a relationship and tend to display only hatred or desire to hurt a partner. When two narcissistic fellows date, it is always chaotic. They want a modeled relationship for the outside world to see that you're perfect. They're really perfect, look good, but not feel good. And that's not a good relationship to raise kids at all. One narcissistic partner, one partner suffers, you can't just help them. You're not able to reach them. You try all that you can, but it's just like the beauty of the beast relationship. And the beast can never be a prince in that kind of relationship. You will never be able to keep up if one partner is narcissistic, and you will constantly feel that you're not enough. So with all these definitions and all that we've seen or talked about who a narcissistic person is, how do we help people who are narcissistic? First is the realization that there is a problem. Do they know that there is a problem? Do they understand that there is a problem? And then secondly, it requires medical diagnosis by a professional. You cannot just say somebody is narcissistic without going through therapy. It can't be cured, but treatments can alleviate it, as it could last for years or be lifelong. And the therapy is psychotherapy, talk therapy, counseling, psychology with support groups. Please note that if you are not a professional, helping people with this trait could be mentally draining, and this could in turn damage you. You cannot help someone who is narcissistic if you're not trained to do so. How to heal from a narcissistic urge? We have levels of narcissism as part of being human. So don't take anything personal. Don't take anything personal. I know that a lot of us will take things personal and feel like, oh, this person hurt me. But first, you need to understand that there are levels to this, and it's part of being human. Because at the end of the day, narcissistic individuals make the best leaders. I know that that's conflicting, but they do make the best leaders. They make the best leaders. But first, it is when they become so self-absorbed in it and don't see reasons with other people that you're leading or people that that are following them, then it becomes a problem. Now, the first thing is don't give your A game. Flip the script. Give less. Set boundaries. Keep a healthy distance. Advocate for yourself. First is you, and have your own goals. Cultivate relationships that fills you with fulfillment. Work, it could be children, it could be community giving. Engage yourself in self-care and therapeutic resolve. Go for therapy because, of course, your self-esteem might have been damaged by relating with this set of people. And then you need to find out if there's some broken part of you that's been validated by this kind of relationship. And I just want to add to this. Being in a relationship with someone who is narcissistic, you really cannot get to them at all. You cannot get to them. And because this is something that narcissism just doesn't start at once. It's been progressive. If you've been dealing with someone who is narcissistic over time and you have tried to get to them, help them, then it's time for you to take a leave. If you're not licensed, if you're not a professional, you cannot get to them. Because first, they have to realize that there's an underlying problem. If they don't realize that there's an underlying problem, then you cannot get to someone who is narcissistic. In fact, if you're not careful, they become very toxic and can get physical with you. That is the height. So because of that, your mental health is paramount. If you're dealing with anybody that's narcissistic, whether it's your job or at, in a love relationship, you need to be able to understand the level of narcissism where they're operating for. And then you make your own decision if you're able to deal with or handle it. So I have a question. I have questions rather.
Yeah.
Why do people stay with narcissistic partners?
I'm sorry, Miss Usman. We do have a question from the audience.
Okay.
The person is asking, how do you raise healthy children with a narcissistic partner?
Raising kids with a narcissistic partner can be very challenging because children model what they see.
Yeah.
Children model what they see. So it is in your duty, if you're the partner that's able to understand that my other partner is narcissistic, you will probably have to engage that child in a lot of talking, and you have to do a lot of shielding. When I say shielding, there's a word called shielding. You have to shield the child, not that you want that indulge the child, but you have to shield the child from the narcissistic partner. The narcissistic partner might not take it lightly with you, and that's where you know that your partner actually needs help, needs therapy. If your partner is not willing to go into therapy with you for the sake of the child, then you might actually need to consult a therapist, because there's limits to what you can do at that moment. You have to consult a licensed therapist. I hope that does that answer your question?
It does to some extent, but let's look at like we all watched the video about TouchLink.
Yes.
About Sister Yewande when she came to the US with her daughter, and with everything that was going on. Now she's a foreigner in a foreign land, little resources. Some people are not even working, and in this kind of situation. And before you start seeking therapy, the person needs to agree to therapy.
Yes.
Now, in some cases, it's possible that he, like what you earlier explained to us about the narcissist, you are the problem, he's not the problem. So how do you now balance that? First of all, this person doesn't agree.
First, you have to leave that environment. That environment is toxic. You cannot raise a child with a narcissistic partner. When one partner is narcissistic and you have a child in that marriage, it will be very, very difficult to model good behavior into that child. Remember, the child is actually looking at the subconscious, and the child is looking at what the father is doing, looking at what the mother is doing, and is able to pick from the mother, able to pick from the father. The first thing is leave that environment for the sake of that child. If a narcissistic person becomes physical, you don't have to wait for it to become physical, because that could be very damaging. The moment there's an emotional abuse, the moment there's a psychological abuse, that's exactly when you need to leave. You need to leave. Leave in the sense that be separate, stay away. That's the first thing. Whether the person is just an exhibitionist or something, just stay away first, because you cannot help who doesn't realize they have a problem. A person who doesn't realize they have a problem cannot be helped. So there is no need for you trying to make efforts to help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. So the first thing is leaving the environment where you have this narcissistic fellow.
Can I just add to that? Thank you so much, Elizabeth. That's such a powerful topic, and you actually delivered it very well. But the problem here is that most of the time, it's not that easy to leave, especially if you're if you don't have a resource to live, right?
Yeah.
And remember, you are dealing with a narcissist who everybody is a manipulator. Everybody believes this person. Everybody believes you are the one crazy. You are the one at fault. In fact, all fingers are towards you because a narcissist knows how to play everybody. He's so good. He's so charming. He's so quiet, and you are so loud. You are the, to everybody's eyes, you are the bad person. So, and then you don't have the resources that is needed for you to, live and take care of yourself and your child. So it becomes very challenging. One thing I can say is there are resources. I would say before you even take care, I don't think you can help somebody that don't want to help themselves. And in fact, you are opening yourself up for more danger. The best thing to do in such situation is to look for resources, look for advocates, look for agencies like TouchLink or other agencies in the community that can help you take care of yourself and protect your children. I'm not saying, leave the home totally, but at least go take care of yourself until that person can check himself in for treatment.
Yeah.
Because they are very dangerous. They are,
yeah,
a lot
and
of
they
people
can start
kind
stalking.
of narcissist. A lot of people. And people were like, oh, he's so nice, he's so good. They were shocked that happened. But this was after the fact.
Thank you, DY, for the contribution. Thank you so much. Ms. Elizabeth, you wanted to go to the question and answer part of your slide. Yes.
Yeah.
We do have some more questions in the chat. We have a question for Ms. Totinade Boyoga that says, how do you raise healthy children with a narcissistic partner?
She just finished answering that. The other question was like a joke. They're asking what's the difference between a narcissist and a psycho. Someone responded and said no difference. Do you have any comments?
Okay. A psycho, when you say psycho needs to have a diagnosis. There are so many diagnoses when it comes to personality disorders. We have the dissociative personality disorder. We have the multiple personality disorder. This person can be here and fit in, and then it's somewhere else, fits in perfectly. And like that. We have people who are bipolar. We have people, we have people who are bipolar. We have people who deal with a lot of anxiety and depression that have graduated to the item part, like really graduated. So when you say somebody's a psycho and somebody's a narcissist, they're in the same frame. It's the same thing. But the thing is, we need to know what the diagnosis is. And that's where the professionalism comes in. If you say somebody is a psycho, what exactly is the personality disorder? Is this person schizophrenic? What's the diagnosis? And I tell people, when you're dealing with people who are narcissistic, it will always be better for you to keep your cool, because before you know it, it affects it. It really gets into you, and you think that you are the problem. After some time, you start to question yourself, like, oh, maybe it's actually true what this person is saying. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe there's something wrong with me. And that's where it starts to affect your esteem. You don't want to associate with people because you feel that you are no good. It affects how you relate with people. It affects your productivity at work. You try to, feel among, but you feel like something is missing. There's a missing part of you because it's damaging. It's progressive. So I tell people, when you're facing issues that has to do with someone who is very narcissistic, it will be very good for you to cut yourself off from that environment, from that person. Use resources if you want to, but it will be very good for you to cut off. And gaslighting, that is gaslighting. That is gaslighting. I explained what gaslighting is. They manipulate you into believing that you are the problem, and you actually believe that you're the problem. That's gaslighting. Okay. I wanted to ask one or two questions, and yeah. Are narcissists good leaders? I'm throwing this to the house. Are they good leaders?
Yes.
Are we saying narcissism is good? If the answer is yes, so does it mean that narcissism is good?
How are they good leaders?
Yes, because they are manipulators.
They're manipulators. For you to be able to
They're
gather people,
diplomats.
you need to be very
Very
diplomatic.
diplomatic.
I am telling you that they are very good leaders. The reason I said they are very good, studies have shown that they make good leaders. I'm sorry, I don't want to mention the name, but you
Yes,
know who
let's
our leader
keep out of
is.
this, please.
Yeah, that's a typical,
No
that's a,
political campaign here.
yeah. So we all know because they have this heightened self-esteem. Their esteem is so heightened, they don't believe that what you're saying affects them. So they are able to take up any role and they will do it perfectly well. They fit into any role and they're able to carry people along to follow them. So if someone else is saying this person is no good, another person will saying, but this person is good. This person did good to me. And that's because of the way the personality disorder is. One face to some people, the other face to some people. So they are able to balance in between. They have good emotional stability. They're able to mask up. Even when they're dying inside and they know, some of them know that they have problems, but because they're able to mask it and they have people, singing their praises, they bring it up and they make good leaders. And they're productive with it. The problem is when they become self-absorbed in it, that's when people now see it. People see it because they're absorbed in it. The ones that don't show it, remember I talked about the exhibitionists. The exhibitionists will not show it. They're very secure. So you won't know that this person is a narcissist. The ones that show it and are very physical about it are the toxic ones. The ones that go in the closets and they come up all coming with people, you see them, they're all nice and all that. They make good leaders because there's a face. It's like a chameleon. They fit into one place. They talk well, they see you. Another person, they talk. If you don't align with their goals, they know exactly how to get you. If you don't align with what they want, they know exactly how to get you. So my next question will now be, why do people stay with narcissistic partners? Some women, from where I come from, they stay with narcissistic partners and they say they're doing it because of their kids. So why do people still stay with narcissistic partners? You know that this person is toxic, but you still stay.
I think, first of all, a lot of times you got married to that person in the first instance because you love him. And I think a lot of women believe that their love can take care of anything. They just need to be more understanding. You talked about that earlier. Be more tolerant and he'll change, because I'm not sure if narcissists partners also fall into that category of people that when the woman says I'm done, I'm leaving, he breaks down into tears and starts crying like I can't live without you, my life is over without you. So at the end of the day, it's like they feel they can change him. It's a matter of time, and there's hope. I think
there's hope, and they keep hoping. They keep hoping, and the years keep going by, and it becomes toxic. Remember, I said something that narcissism is very progressive. It won't just start like this. It will start from emotional abuse that way. And when they see how you are able to tolerate that, they can come back with gifts. Shower you with gifts. And they may never say sorry. They may never bring up the issue. But the moment they throw gifts at you, they know they get you. They do the next. They come back with that. The moment they see that you are beginning to understand that it's a pattern and that you're trying to cut off, then they become toxic. So for women, if you have a narcissistic partner, draw a boundary, flip the script. I wouldn't say I don't care, but I will say that as much as is in your power, I'm a good advocate for marriage. A woman can be a narcissist and draining. It's not only to the men, to a woman, but we have established that it's more with the men. More studies have shown that it's more prevalent with men than women.
So I have a question. So for someone who is like, okay, the man is now like, I need you to help me. And the woman is like, I can't help you. Like anything you want me to do, I'll do. And she's like, okay, you need help. And the person's like, yes, I need help. And then he agrees to therapy.
Okay.
But then he doesn't really change. I mean, it takes, you know, the therapy, I think you already alluded to the
One
fact
thing I need
that
to
takes a
make
while.
everybody understand, you cannot change a narcissistic person. You can
What
never
about
change
therapy?
them.
You talked about therapy.
Therapy only alleviates it over time. Therapy doesn't stop narcissism. Therapy doesn't stop narcissism. Therapy will only alleviate it, makes it's a gradual thing. It's not something that, okay, they might start giving them antidepressants. You might be on some drugs that are anti-anxiety drugs. Amitriptyline, levetiracetam, because I know of that drug. It's helped like a few 1 or 2 persons that I know. The moment they are on those drugs, what that drug does is just to make sure that the brain goes to sleep. When I say goes to sleep, like goes to rest. They do more
Wow.
sleeping, yeah, more sleeping, and that's therapy. Apart from talk therapy, psychotherapy, they have to do a lot of talking over time. Sometimes you will have a narcissistic fellow in therapy, and they call their therapist and tell the therapist, okay, what should I do now? This is what's going on. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And the therapist will tell them, okay, this is what you should do. And they try it and they see that it works. Then they can call the therapist and say, okay, I think it's worked, but I don't think I want to try it again. Some of them are intentional. Some of them know that what they're doing. Some don't know until they get into therapy. That's when they know.
Wow. This is such a hot topic. We have another question. So someone is asking, can a narcissist have all 3 categories in regards to exhibitions, closet, and toxic? That is
Yes.
toxic.
Yes.
All 3 combined?
All 3. Yes,
Oh
all
my.
3.
Oh my.
All 3. All 3. And that's when they become violent. Have you seen people who kill people and they don't feel remorseful about it?
Recently. Yep. You see. Yep.
You've seen the news, you see people who kill people and they're in court and they don't feel any remorse about it. And they can even justify their actions that I did it. That is heightened level. That's very toxic. And that's why I said it is always good to get away from people who are narcissistic, because you cannot help them. You cannot get to them. You can't.
So how can you, someone asked earlier, what are the red flags? Like you're courting a person, you're in a relationship, he's a gentleman, he treats you like you're the only one in the world, nothing else matters. And, you know, how can you tell when you're still courting a person that this person, I think this person has
when
these
you're
traits?
dating a narcissist, oh my goodness, it will drain you. At one point, you will feel like you're all good. Oh my goodness. You're all good. You're okay. But this is it. The constant need for gratification, like you're dating them, but you feel like when you guys are talking, you're having a discussion, they're gonna make it about them. They don't even want to get to know you. That's one red flag. They're gonna tell you their achievements, the things that they've been able to do for themselves, what they want to do, the things that they have, the designers that they have, the things that have, the followers they have on social media, the girls that come after them that they're not answering. That itself, they're creating an image in you to say, oh, just know that you're
very privileged.
Yeah, you're very privileged. That's how it is. That's how you know that this person is up to something. And a bit of arrogance at some point. They might be able to tell you sorry at some point, but you will never get to hear it all the time. You will never get to hear it all the time when it exactly matters. and they want their wish to be done in that relationship. They actually will not want to, they want to listen to you talk, but when it comes to the action, they won't do it. So those are the things that you need to look out for. Those are the red flags that you need to look out for when dating a narcissist. And narcissists will always want it to be about me, me, me. And wouldn't take time. Yes. It's always gonna, every discussion, everything that you guys do will always level up around them. But because you're carried away with the niceness, you won't really be able to see it. It's much after when it becomes prevalent and you're neck deep into it, then you start seeing it like, but I did see this before. That's how a narcissistic person operates. That's how they operate. The first time you're meeting them, they're all sweet. You won't see any, in fact, you won't be able to smell that this person is toxic.
Okay, we have 2 questions. If you can wrap this up in 3 minutes for the 2 questions, that would be great because it's almost 9 o'clock. And everyone, please, this is going to be available on our YouTube page as well as our Facebook page, and that's Facebook.com/touchlink.org. You find us there. So the first question is, since narcissism is rooted in how the individual experiences love or attention as a child, can the partner be strategic to feed into his love or attention languages? That's one. Then the second question is, at what age, because I think they're kind of like connected, does narcissistic personality disorder develop?
Narcissistic personality disorder, that's age 5. It starts from age 5. It starts from age 5 for the child. But for the parents, where the child is being born into, it starts at birth. Remember I said something about we women, would I say women or would I say people generally? You'll see a pregnant woman and you say, are you having a girl or a boy? And then the society starts to view that child in that light. Like some boys don't wash. They believe that the girl should clean, the girl should cook. It starts from there. But for the child, mirroring the parents, it starts from age 5. The child's developmental stage is between age 5 and age 8. Whatever you want to instill in a child subconsciously registers between age 5 to age 8. After age 10, it will be very difficult, and it will take being intentional with raising that child, like modeling the right behavior into a child. And that's why, there's a part of the scripture, I don't want to quote so much scripture here. It says train up a child in the way it should go. It didn't say train up an adolescent. It didn't say train up an adult. It says a child, meaning that the formative age of a child will be from 5 to like 10. That's where you instill the model and the behavior that you want in a child. I think that answers the first question or the second question.
That's the second question. So okay. The first one was talking about, can the partner be strategic to feed into?
Yeah, it is, like I said, it is your prerogative. If you want to stay with a narcissistic partner, as far as you understand the levels at which this person operates, and this person is able to cooperate with you into going into therapy and not letting it go beyond what it is at the moment. The moment you realize that this is becoming toxic, you can run. Like I said, it's your prerogative. Some people will say, I love him, I want to stay with him. I think that I can be able to manage with this. Your prerogative. But for me, speaking on narcissism today, I will say run. Like leave if you can. Leave if you can. And leave in the sense that if you're not careful, it starts creating a low self-esteem into you, because this person will always look at every opportunity to say that you're not good enough. They start blaming you for things. They blame you for the things that they go through. They tell you that you are the reason they're in the states which they are. And they make you believing that if you go, nobody will want you. That they've done the best they can for you. So, conclusively, narcissism is the bedrock of sexual assault. Anyone that engages in sexual assault, sexual abuse, any form of abuse, emotional abuse, whether it's physical abuse, go and check. That person has been narcissistic for a long time. Yeah. And I just want to encourage as many persons on this call. If you're dealing with narcissism, it will be good to speak up. Speak up. Reach out to people around you, your support group. Church Link is one. Three Pillars is one. Reach out to people around you. There's another site, Easy Breezy. You can reach out to them. Touchlink.org, Three Pillars _NG on Instagram, is Breezy on Instagram. These are resources that can help. And you can look at your local community. Local communities have advocates, human rights advocates too. Your local county has advocates. Reach out if you need help. And another thing is know the people that you relate with, because your friends might be friends with your narcissistic partner and can even be divulging information. I've been there. Like I thought I had a friend, and this person, everything I tell her, she tells this person. And I wonder why this person is so irritated and so upset when we talk, and not knowing that everything that, I was trying to confide in someone, say, this is what I'm going through. How do you think that I can manage the situation? In the bid of trying to help, the friend was relating with the same person, the same guy, that this is what you're doing. And so that made it more complex. So I want to say that reach out to people that are not familiar with what that person is at first.
Yeah.
It will help.
Can I add to that? Yeah, that is so important, because a lot of times what they do is they give gifts, either they do service or give money or do some type of, favor for other people in order to isolate you.
Spite you.
They really do that a lot. So those are the things you also need to be careful to look out for. Some people around you, even though they are your friends, they might actually be their messengers, so to say. They might be collecting information from you. Yeah.
And we have females that are narcissistic too. You have females at your jobs that are narcissistic, and will do anything to make, because they want to be like you, they want to look like you, they want to get to that level that you've gotten to. They will do anything to fetch information from anybody. That's narcissism.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi, this is Jana. I just want to, share my story. I will be brief.
Thank you, Jana.
Thank you.
I just want to really thank you very much. Thank everyone. When I first met my ex-husband, oh my God, he was so charming. He was attractive, and I thought that he was the one. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I thought he was the number one, and I was like, God, yes, thank you, Lord. This is he started taking me shopping. He would take me to Macy's. Oh, and he just tell me, listen, take whatever you want. Whatever you want, you can have it. I'm like, really? Are you serious? Yes, take it. And you know what? I had no idea, no clue. Like you said, it didn't become prevalent not until when we got married. When we got married, the mask fell off. And I will never forget. I questioned myself. I said, is this the man who God sent for me? Like, I was just questioning it, because I always thought that God would give me his choice. I always said, I want God's choice. I don't want my choice, but I want God's choice. And I waited. And when he approached me, the first thing that came to mind was like, God, is this real? When I see him going to church, and he was so active in the church, and we, both of us, we're praying together, we're doing these things together. But then it was not until after we got married that things started to change. And I started to question myself, and I said, what have I done? What have I gotten myself into? The mask fell off. And it escalated when we moved to Jersey. You see, because he took me away from my family. He took me away from my friends. He took me away from from the church family. Okay, he isolated me, and that's when the beast came out. That's when the man that I thought was my husband for the rest of my that would spend the rest of my life. We shared vows together. You understand? I thought that this would be the right man, but however, it was not. He was a beast. He was a narcissist, and at the time I didn't know what narcissist was. At the time I knew about psychopath, but I didn't know about narcissism. And and he will gaslight, manipulate. He will isolate me. A friend of mine, Felicia, she had a party. He told me not to go. He doesn't want me to go. And I was like, what is this? Is bondage. This is bondage. But I really thank God for TouchLink. I thank God for Sister One Day. I thank God for everyone that had prayed me through and helped me to get out, because it was not easy for me. When I tell you that I thought that I didn't know how to leave. I didn't know. I would just imagine myself leaving, because he would even relinquish my car key from me. So I experienced all of that. And then he will appear to his friends as though I'm his queen. I'm my wife. He will talk so good about me, but then behind closed doors is a different story. It's something totally different. It was a nightmare.
Wow.
It was a nightmare. So that's what I experienced. I just wanted to share that with everyone. And I'm not ashamed to say this is what I went through, because I want to impact women who are also going through what I went through, because I know I feel the pain. I know what it's like. I was there before I married. I didn't know. I said, why are these women staying with these men? Why don't they just leave? Why don't they just leave them? How is it that it's so hard to just leave that man? But I can tell you, I experienced it, and it's not easy. It's not easy to just pick up and pack your things and leave the house. It's not as easy as it seems. But thank God that I left, and I'm going through the healing process thanks to TouchLink. And I want to just, admonish you ladies, whoever is going through what I went through, that there is hope. There is hope.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's all. I just want to share that. I'm sorry. I just wanted to share
Thank
what
you.
I went through.
And thank
Yes.
you for
And
sharing with us. And I'm sorry
yes.
you had to go through all of that. I want to tell you that narcissism breaks people. If you are
Yeah.
with a narcissistic partner, it will break the fiber of your being. Like you will feel like you don't have a sense of worth anymore. So
That's
I'm
right.
so sorry you had to go through all of that. And thank you for sharing your story with us. I sincerely hope that a lot of awareness is raised about this topic, and that people can really come to the light of the understanding that being with narcissistic partner doesn't have to be, speak up. Speak up. I know it might be hard, but I know that one day there will be emancipation for you, and the light will come. Um, and without further ado, thank you so much for sharing. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that your story does inspire people to do better, feel better, and know that they're what more than what they're getting from partners. And so in that light, if you're married and you feel like your partner is narcissistic, reach out, talk about it. Don't keep quiet. That's the thing. Because narcissism, or a narcissistic person, has a tendency to isolate you from people that will really help you. That's the thing. They will take you away from people that will really help you. So don't be afraid, whether it's a form of text or, a form of calls, just reach out. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for
Thank
listening, and
you. Thank
over
you,
to you.
Elizabeth.
We had, thank you so much, Miss Elizabeth. We had such an awesome time with you, and we have more questions pouring in. So everyone, so here's what we're going to do. You can send your questions to info@touchlink.org, and we will answer your questions. because it's already past 9. We're way past our time. This is really a hot topic because
it's very broad.
oh my God. I have some questions here, but I'm like, we're not going to leave here tonight. Thank you so much for taking us through that. And it's scary to think that there's a little narcissist in nice little me. I mean, like, okay.
Yeah.
So, but all in all, help is not far away. Don't be quiet. If you need help, please, that's why TouchLink is doing this. Reach out for help. I know Sister Jana personally. She's a beautiful woman. She's strong. She's been through a lot. And every day, one of the things she does is she affirms herself. So that being said, we're still, our work still continues. Our virtual work still continues. Please walk a path. That means something to you. Post something on Facebook or Instagram. Go to our website, www.touchlink.org. We're on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. We're on Instagram and Facebook. This is recorded live, so you can go back, listen, and share. And for those of you who are wondering about your children, it's time to shield them. It's time to ask for help, and help is available. And lastly, we do need your help. There are lots of people that need help out there. There are people that would love to listen to this, but they can't because they're home with their abuser. It will be like, what are you doing? Are you out of your mind? So please share. And God help us also. We need to fundraise because we have people that are going through during COVID. And TouchLink helps people. We help them with all sorts of things, help them with accommodation, help them look for jobs, help them with their papers, help them with everything you can imagine. So please help us so that we can actually help others. And lastly, can we just give a round of applause or an emoji or something for our speaker? Woo! That was awesome. We had such an awesome time.
Next Thursday, we have another topic, right?
Yes. So on Thursday, save your, mark your calendar. It's going to be another hot topic. You don't want to miss it. So thank you so much, everyone. We hope to see you again. Miss Usman, you'll be coming back for one of our other nights.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
For joining. Hey, my friend. Hey, Pastor. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. How are you?
Yeah, thank
nice
you.
to see you, Lala Day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Bye. Hey. Hi.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you, Mrs. Ako.